Hello and welcome to the shop. Recently I built this maker cart out of scraps, actually pallet wood, that I had around the shop, all except for a half-inch sheet of plywood that I use for the shelves. The idea behind this was I needed a work area and I needed a storage area for my pens and my intarsia. And this became the perfect way to do that. I made this cart 37 inches in height, so it's the same height as my table saw, and it's also the same height as my main bench. The idea behind it is it has 8 shelves that are 2 foot by 2 foot for a total storage area of 32 square feet. The way it works is I've got all my shelves down here, and for example I can put my pen kits or my blanks on the shelves. I can pull that shelf out, bring it up to the top, and I've got a workspace that is the right height to do whatever I need. When I'm finished, say I'm doing glue ups for pin blanks, I can take the shelf, slide it right back into its slot, pull another one out, and repeat. Now I do want to talk a little bit about this and point out a few things that I would have done different if I were doing it again. So let me get the camera angle adjusted, bring you in a little closer, and I'll give you a tour of the cart. If I were to build this cart again, I honestly think what I might do is make it about 18 inches wide as opposed to 24, because I think it would be a little easier to move around the shop. However, this is serving me very well. I've been using it non-stop since I built it. A couple of things I would change about it. Mike Fulton pointed this out. On my runners, I just made the runners go straight back. And what happens is, occasionally, I don't know how well you can see it, but in the back here, I'm bumping this 2x4 because I went in at a little bit of an angle. What I'm going to do to correct that is cut the corners off of these boards so that when it goes back, it'll hit and it'll straighten it up and slide it right into place. Mike Fulton suggested, and in the plans, and yes, there are going to be plans, I've got them on the Google Drive and I'm going to put a link in the comments below. Mike suggested making the shelves 23.5 inches wide and cutting a dado or a rabbet in the runners so that you can lay the shelf in the rabbet and slide them back, and you won't have the issue with bumping the side rails in the cart. Another suggestion that Mike made, and it makes perfect sense, is to get another half-inch sheet of plywood and to go ahead and close in the sides and the back of the cart. And the idea behind that is that gives you a solid surface. You could put some little bins on there or some hangers, and for example, all of your drill bits and your turning tools can be on one side. On the other side, I could have all of my tools for the scroll saw, blades, etc. And also by doing that, the flat board on the back would be your stop, as opposed to using a couple of boards here, to keep you from shoving your shelves all the way through. Now, in the plans, Mike came up with the idea initially to take these 2 stops and to cut them to fit within either side of the cart, so that way the whole back is open. It would be much easier for you to put a sheet of plywood and cover that. So this cart has really helped me with organization. It has cleaned off my table, the top of my saw, and my other work table, because it's given me so much area to store my projects. And the fact that I can work right on top of it and the storage space / workspace is interchangeable makes this a very valuable tool. I do think that had I planned it out a little better, I could have done a much nicer job with it. And if I would have bought some decent lumber, but I really had a bunch of unused pallet wood around the shop. I wanted to do something with it. I got the wheels at a Habitat for Humanity store for $8, and I thought, let's just use, I kind of built it on the fly using what I had, and the suggestions I've got from Mike that I passed along to you, I think are excellent. I think if you build one, you should incorporate those. And I think you should take my plans, look them over, and then make your own adjustments to the cart to make it work better in your shop. I'd like to thank you for joining me for this quick tour of my maker cart. I would like to also throw a huge thank you out to Mike Fulton over at MF Woodshop, and I'm going to put a link to Mike's channel in the comments below, and you really should go check Mike out. He's a great guy. I was having trouble using SketchUp. I built this thing on the fly, and then I drew the plans out, on a piece of paper and measured everything out, and I was trying to put them in SketchUp. I was having a difficult time because the type of woodworking that I do, turning, you don't often use a tool like SketchUp. Mike sends me a note and says, hey, send me your drawings. I'll put them in SketchUp for you. And I greatly appreciate it because it allowed me to put together, I think, a much better set of plans for you. Note that those plans, the instructions, were put together by a woodturner. I don't normally do plans, so it was difficult for me to do. It took quite a bit of time. I tried to be as thorough as possible. I hope you find them useful. There will be a link in the comments below to Mike Fulton's channel. Please check him out. Subscribe to Mike. Show him some love and appreciation for this. And also, there will be a link to the PDF out on my Google Drive with instructions. It's a cut list, tells you how much material you need to build this basic cart. It does include a few of Mike's changes. I hope that you take those instructions, look them over closely, and kind of think about what would make this cart better in your shop, and make a few on-the-fly adjustments, because I'm already thinking about some things I want to just do to mine to make it better, and I think you'll have ideas that are going to work great in your shop. I'd like to thank you for joining me in the shop for this video, and as you guys go out and download the plans, shoot me some photos of the carts that you make and the modifications especially that you make to this, because I may want to steal some of your ideas. Also, since this is the first time I've really done a serious plan, I wouldn't mind having some feedback from you guys on what you think about the plan and what I could do in the future to possibly make plans better for you. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon. Have a great evening, everybody.